Billy Napier trying to get things right in season number 2 after 6 and 7, of course. And we've got Cody, the professor, on the line for F is for Fanatics. It's a good YouTube channel right here on YouTube. Check out Cody's work. Cody, we appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. What have you been up to?
Oh, just trying to keep track of the Florida Gators. Had a pretty decent transfer come in.
So we'll start down that path where you were headed with RJ Moten. Played a lot of football at Michigan the last 2 years, 25 games played, had 31 tackles this past year with a pick, 2.5 tackles for loss. So what do you think about this addition to the Florida defense?
I think it's something that Florida was really needing. Now, not saying we don't have safeties, but um, you know, you got to have depth, and that's something that Florida has struggled with, and a lot of teams are gonna struggle with the transfer portal. It's one of those things where these guys are in and out all the time, but RJ's a good kid, legacy kid. His dad Roy played linebacker in the '80s, and if you saw any of the pictures, man, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Just big, stocky. Seems to have a really good attitude, kind of a fit of what Billy Napier is trying to bring back to Florida. I know Austin Armstrong, the new DC, young DC, likes him a lot. But let's get into this for a second. Mr. Roy Moten hadn't been back to Gainesville since the '80s. So the recruiting trip that they took, the official visit, was the first time that Mr. Moten had been back to Gainesville in the '80s. It was pretty emotional for him. And his son RJ said, "Yeah, Dad, this is the place for me. I want to continue the legacy down here." And I think a lot of teams, I think Florida needs to really make sure that we are doing everything we can to keep these legacy kids back in, because a lot of them, there's a lot of kids that are even better than their parents.
Okay, Cody, the professor, on the line. F is for Fanatics. Join Cody right there on YouTube. And we're talking Florida football. And while we're on the transfer portal, of course, it's closed, so no more additions. However, there's a ton of players in there. I don't know what the count is. I don't know if you do. It's well in the
3,000.
hundreds. Yeah, 3,000, whatever it is. So there's a lot of players that have decisions to make and teams that have decisions to make. So what would be your realistic wish list for the Gators in regards to taking from the transfer portal?
Realistically, and guys, you gotta look at roster count and scholarships, and you can't just load up on transfer kids, because you don't want to do that, because it could really affect you negatively in high school recruiting. Also, I would like to see maybe 2 offensive linemen come in. You can never have enough of those guys. They're always seeming to get hurt. And truthfully, I got to see probably one more wide receiver, with a caveat, with a lot of experience. I don't need a young guy. I got 3 studs that are coming in, true freshmen, that are going to be, day one impact guys. I gotta get another guy like Pearsall or something like that. Preferably a guy that can really take the top off the defense. We did get Cam Carroll this past year. This is going to be his first season. He's a running back. We got 2 other NFL running backs, so I'm not really worried about that. Linebackers, they really went out and went heavy in linebackers and got a couple guys. So I think just offensive linemen, 2 offensive linemen, and a very experienced wide receiver.